Hi, welcome to the Shelley Studio and another video for the hashtag event Trash to Treasure that's by the Creative Arts Collaboration Group. And this one is what to do with that leftover paint. Well, I have put leftover paint in notebooks, on journals, on drop paper, and just washed it off my table and thrown it in the garbage. And then I watched a video by Cheap Joe's on their YouTube channel, and it was all about acrylic skins and how they took the leftover paint and they put it on plastic, let it dry. They put it pretty thick, let it dry, and then peeled it off and created art with it. Well, I didn't want to do it thick, I just wanted to use my leftover paint. So I have been taking the leftover paint and using a palette knife and scraping it off of my table and onto some deli paper. And we are going to create something with that. And so here are my deli papers that are really covered in paint because I've been scraping them off. And right here I am tracing the bird's face onto the yellow bit of paint so that I can cut it out the right shape so it'll match what I already drew on my journal page. And I can't see it very well, so I cut it out part way and then I have to trace again to get the lines exact. That carbon doesn't trace very well onto acrylic paint, especially bumpy acrylic paint. So yeah. Anyway, I'd seen Cheap Joe's did a rooster, and I will find that video and put a link below on how they created their acrylic skins. And I didn't want to do a rooster. Everybody does roosters. So I wanted to do an unusual bird, and somebody suggested Kevin from the movie Up. So this is Kevin, in case you couldn't tell, from the movie Up. Now I've got that so it fits, but it's going to go on top, so we're going to set it aside. And now we are going to just collage bits and pieces of the acrylic skins, quote, quote, onto this. I think if I do this again, any of these small areas, I will just paint, because getting pieces to fit in his legs were really tedious. And this whole thing was a little tedious, but it turns out so much fun. You guys, you have to try this at least once. And I've been saving this paint for a long time. And been thinking about it for quite a while. And I figured this was the perfect opportunity to turn this trash into treasure. While we're watching me put a leg together, don't forget to put the hashtag Trash to Treasure in the search bar on YouTube. And you'll find a whole bunch of videos. And by the time this one shows up, you'll find all my other videos as well when you put that in the search bar. And it'll be interesting to see what other people create and what kind of trash they have decided to use to create their little treasures. I did the foot and then it was too small, so I have to add extra to it to make it work. You'll see. I put it on there and I'm like, oh, that is way too small. I was just guessing. Probably could have traced that too, but I didn't want to get out the graphite or the graphite paper. Plus, it didn't trace very well onto acrylic paint, so might not have been worthwhile anyway. So there, we've got that one, and we're going to go work on the other leg. And I started doing this with my fingers because it was driving me crazy, using that big old fluffy brush that's completely worn out. And my fingers built up so much of that gel medium, it just wasn't working for me. So I do stop every once in a while and go wash my fingers off. Now we're giving Kevin a little bit of a tail. I didn't have a ton of just one color, so it ends up to be multiple colors, but I do try to keep the colors together. A little bit. So like anything tending towards the purple ends up on this side. And I guess he has a little bit of a white underbelly because I'm putting the white on the right hand side. The hard part was finding large pieces to go on because I have so many little bits and pieces. I guess that means I didn't have a lot of wasted paint each time I cleaned off my table. Kind of has a feathery look, don't you think? And then I found a nice big piece, so we're going to just stick it on right there. And it's good to have a little dark next to his head so that his head will show up. So now I've got to find some more dark pieces. There's a point in here somewhere where my camera stopped working and I didn't realize it, and I just kept going, so it does jump a little bit. I did edit the tearing apart of the pieces every once in a while, so you didn't have to sit through all of that. And just save the good parts. See, right there, it jumped. And then as I'm working around the neck, the battery dies, and I don't stop because I just didn't want to. You get the gist anyway, so. So we're going to do pink around his head. I was thinking I'd do a whole pink neck, but I ran out of pink, I think. It gets to be mostly pink, though. Pink-ish, anyway. Time to wash my fingers. That finger's getting totally loaded. And everything's sticking to my fingers. I'll just keep working my way around his neck, his long neck that's wrapping around. And that's where it stopped. We'll put his face on. And the gel medium's not quite doing it. He's like lifting up. Well, the matte medium, so now I'm going for gel medium. Just to get him to get that face to stay down and the beak to stay on. It's a bit of a messy process. Lots of matte medium and gel medium everywhere. So I wait for him to dry, and once he's dry, we're going to put his eyeball on. I'm just going to paint a white circle for his eye. And then I'm taking a Neocolor 2 black watercolor crayon and just using my water brush just to get a little shading around everywhere so that you can see the separation, especially around his head. So I kind of like the colors, even though it was totally not planned what colors would be there. It just happens to be the colors that I've been working with. But I think it worked out pretty well. I'm just working my way all the way around the bird, all the way around the different sections. Even here I do a division between his body and his tail feathers. Just so it looks like they're behind a little bit in the background. And now we're gonna give him an eyeball, or pupil, the center of his eyeball. I decided I can't get it round, so I'm using the back of the brush to get it nice and round. And that works pretty well. And now we've got to do his plume on the top of his head. That's just a Sharpie fine line permanent marker. Kind of looks like he's wearing tulips on the head. In the movie it looks more like peacock feathers on his head, but yeah, I didn't know how I would do that, so it's just little spots of feathers. I thought maybe the green would stand out a little bit more against all those other colors. But when I put that one on, I see I'm going to have to outline those when they dry. That one wasn't quite big enough, so we're going to add a second piece. Cover those all up and let them dry. So I'm just putting a little highlight on his eye. Kind of hard to do when he's got white and then just the black. And then shading around a little bit so his eyeball stands out. And I forgot his mouth. There we go. Now we have his mouth. I decided to use my Americana writer to do the lines going up to those feathers because I didn't think the Sharpie was quite strong enough. So here's the finished piece. I did go around the edges again with a marker, and I hope you liked that. I hope it gave you some ideas, and if you like it, please hit like. If you'd like to see more, please subscribe.